Head.
Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to Women That Tread. You can barely see my little sign, but it is Wednesday, Hump Day, and I'm a little exhausted. I'm not going to lie, so I was like, "What day is it?" But today we have my special guest, who happens to be a friend of mine as well. We have
Yay.
Suha Zehl. Hello, Suha.
Hi, Raquel. Hi, everybody. How are you doing?
Good. We were just talking about how you're in Florida, and I asked the weather, and you said it was cold. And
Yes,
what
yeah,
does
I'm
that
wearing a
mean for you?
sweater. I'm wearing a sweater. I have my heater on, and it's 60 degrees here. It's
Yes.
freezing. Yeah, you
Which,
may smack me.
yeah, but it's funny because you actually used to live in Northern Virginia. So,
Yep.
oddly enough, we met through LinkedIn, but we realized that we were pretty much neighbors, and we met for
Hey, you live like
coffee.
right down the street from me,
I
or
know. So we ended up,
worked right down the street.
and that was what I want to say, like 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was. It
Yeah,
was
around 3 years.
2018, 2019.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we finally got to meet, had coffee, and then became friends, and would meet up every so often. And then you had to go ahead and move to Florida. Hello, Christina.
Hey,
And
Christina.
so now you're down there, so I don't get to see you that often. But I'm glad that you're on the show because we get to catch up a little bit.
I know. We can do like a little tribe thing today.
Yeah, there you go. So Suha, tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm not trying to focus too much on where we work at our titles, but just a Suha in general that you want people to know about you.
Well, my latest thing is that I want to be a positivity magnet.
Ooh,
That's real. Yes, that's like one of the things that I'm really focusing on because I think being around negative people really brings you down, and
yes.
being around positive people really ups your energy and helps you be more productive. So I've actually put it on my board. It's something that I'm really focusing on, is being positive and generating that energy with everybody. So
Yes, that's important.
it is. It just, we've all been going through so much this last 20. I can't believe it's been 21 months. We
I
moved
know.
to Tampa, and like 2 months later, COVID happened. So it's been 21 months of being at home, being locked up, and you're having all these conversations with yourself all the time, and it's just like you beat yourself down, and it's got to stop. And I don't know, just like about a week ago I woke up and I said, you know what, I just want to be a positivity magnet.
I love
So
that. And it's funny because speaking of positivity magnets, Michael Ray, he's like
hey Michael.
positivity times 1 million and happens to be
Yep.
a great friend of mine as well. And yeah, that's important. Same thing. Like, that's why I've been really focused on surrounding myself with those type of people because it really makes a difference in our world, in our everyday life. And
Yes.
that kind of lends to, because we were going to talk about the topic of leading with the heart. So I'm curious what that means to you, right? Because a lot of people, I think there's like different schools of thought when it comes to leadership.
Hmm.
Lead with the mind, not so much with the heart. But I personally think leading with the heart is the way to go. So, like, what does that mean to you?
For me to be, well, first, to be able to lead from the heart, you have to know yourself and you have to know
Mm,
what your purpose is, because if you don't know that, there's no way you're going to be able to inspire others
right.
by leading from the heart. So for me, it's really being empathetic and taking it that one step further, and even, taking it to compassion. We hear a lot about empathy these days,
Yeah.
and people, sometimes people confuse empathy with sympathy. But then there's that next level of compassion, which is really what propels you as a leader, because then people really know that you care, that you're
Hmm.
not only being empathetic to their situation, but you're actually trying to connect with them and showing them that you care. Leading from the heart for me means you know what to focus on and when to focus on it, and when to let others do what they need to do. Somebody once told me, don't be the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, because you'll always learn from them. And that's part of leading from the heart. So when you're leading a team, you want them to feel like they're connected to you, that they're empowered, that they can achieve what they want to achieve, and you're not there standing over their head going, did you get this done, did you get this done, type thing.
Yeah.
I've had bosses like that, and it used to drive me insane, Raquel, I won't lie.
Yeah.
So I mean, and part of leading from the heart as well, I'm going to switch a little bit, is knowing what path you're on
Mm.
and realizing when you need to pivot because you're not no longer on the right path. Because that also shows other that you're not afraid to fail, you're not afraid to ask for help, you're not afraid to say, hey, maybe I'm wrong about this, maybe I need to do something else. And that helps them believe that it's okay for them to not know what they're doing or to ask for help.
Yeah.
So
I think there's been a huge shift, though, especially in the last couple of years, with more leaders leading with the heart, right? Because you do have to have some sort of compassion and
mhm,
empathy and sympathy towards what people are experiencing and going through. It's just not the same anymore. And I really feel
no,
that those type of leaders are the ones that are really going to succeed. I think it's definitely evolving where emotions and
absolutely.
feelings are actually important in the business world. And so that kind of also leads me because to ask you, because I'm super intrigued by you, and I always have been, Suha, in the sense that you're someone that you're always doing something to kind of like for personal growth or just trying to challenge yourself. Or I always see that you're enrolled in like new programs and you're getting your MBA, and then you're enrolled in the Harvard program, and then you're doing chief and you're starting a chapter, like all of these things. So what is that for you? Like, why do you push yourself in that manner? Like, because I feel like it's a lot.
It is. And sometimes my husband tells me, hey, you're spreading yourself too thin, back up from stuff.
Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, I have to grow.
Mm.
I love to learn. And part of leading from the heart is actually helping others. So a lot of the stuff that I do is really focusing on me getting better at helping others so that they can succeed. And for me to get better, I need to learn these things. I need to network with other executives and learn from them. I need to learn new things that I don't know. And I need to fail sometimes so that I
Mhm.
can learn from these failures. And so to me, when I'm trying all these out, and a lot of things, sometimes I try something like the Harvard thing. So I decided to join the Harvard Business Analytics program. And, I went in, I was all in, and then I realized this is not the right thing for me.
Oh,
Not
really?
right
So,
now.
oh, okay.
So not right now. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe in a little, maybe later, but right now that is not the right thing for me. So I'm not afraid to try something and then say, this is not the right thing for me right now. I need
Yeah.
to do something else. Because around the time that I started that, I started the in the spotlight, and I really
Oh,
wanted to
okay.
focus on that because that became sort of my passion. That became my purpose, is to try and do something that more aligned with where I wanted to go, point
Mm.
B, versus where I am right now. Had I continued with the Harvard program, I would be focusing on my current state, on what I'm doing right now, and I had a different vision for myself. I knew that I wanted to do something else. And it really started in August. I went on a 5-day leadership retreat
Oh,
with
that's
8
right.
amazing,
How
amazing
okay,
women.
how was that? Just kind of like if you can give us
I've
like a
never
little
done
bit of
anything
a
like that.
rundown, like
Yeah,
what was
I've
that like?
never done anything like that in my life. We hiked in Colorado up to, God, 14,800 feet.
Oh my god.
I'm not an outdoorsy person. I am a city girl. I need I'm
Me too.
not. My husband thought I would die up there. I mean, he's like, you're not going to get through this. But it was such a transformational experience.
Wow.
We had a phenomenal executive leader, Bronwyn Morrissey. I think you know her.
Yeah.
She is phenomenal, and we had 8 other women on this, and it was just peeling the onion.
Yeah, I
I
was
mean,
gonna say, I'm
every
sure you
day
really got
peeling the
down,
onion.
like
And you get, I mean, and it was emotional. We cried, we laughed, we celebrated. We took moments to be by ourselves, but it really clarified a lot of things. And I think every woman should do something like that, honestly.
I would love to. When I saw that, I thought, gosh, you know what? One of these days I need to do something like that. And so let me ask you this. Was there something like that was like a major like aha light bulb kind of moment for you at learning about yourself, or just taking away something where you were like, wow, like this was really powerful and it's going to essentially change my life?
Um, I did have a couple of aha moments up there. As you know, my mom had passed away about 6 months before I did that.
Yeah.
And so when I was up there, I felt very close to her.
Mm,
I felt her presence. Mom loved being outdoors. She loved nature. And so I felt very close to her. And I actually wrote a poem when I was out there about the experience and about her. And I love to write. I write poems all the time. So that's like besides the point.
yeah.
But that was an aha moment for me because it made me stop and think about, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? I had never, sometimes we just live our lives. You wake up and it's
Yeah.
Groundhog Day. You just do the same thing over and over. And it really made me stop and think about, what do I really want to do? What is my legacy? What is it going to be when, what do I want my epitaph to be when I'm
Mhm.
done? And it really made me stop and think about that. And that was one of my aha moments. The second aha moment that I had was how much I cared about helping others, which is not something that
Mm.
I really, really thought about.
Which I could totally see that as outside looking in. I see that attribute in you. And so the fact that it took you that trip to see it in yourself, it just goes
Yeah.
to show you how we really kind of just have no
That negative
clue. Like,
talk,
yeah.
yeah, it's I
Wow.
never realized that was something that's really important to me. And so, so some of the things that I'm doing now are really focused on, how do I develop that? What do I need to do with that? So joining Chief was one of
Yeah.
those things that I'm doing.
What exactly is Chief? Because it is a woman, it's a female based
It's
organization, right?
it's a female-based organization in the US. It's by invitation only.
Okay.
And it's for executive and C-suite women. Um, Basically, it's like a networking times 100.
Oh.
I mean, some of the women that I've met, and I've only been a member for 3 weeks now. I joined at
Okay.
the end of December and my membership started in January. Some of the women that I've met, some of the collaboration that's available, um, they have tons of resources to help you develop your leadership skills, what you're trying to do. I mean, many of the women, I mean, I sit there, on webinars with some of these women. I'm going, she's like the GM of General Motors. What am I
Yeah,
doing
well, I
here?
saw it's funny because after you posted on LinkedIn, I get now the advertising for Chief on my feed, and I saw that Michelle Obama is going to be speaking at one of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
webinars too.
yeah.
So I was just like, okay, this is hardcore.
It is legit. It is truly legit. So we have Sarah Blakely, a
Okay.
previous CEO of Spanx.
Yes, thanks.
She's giving a webinar. They call them fireside chats,
Okay.
on the 31st. We have, the First Lady Michelle Obama is going to be doing one in February. And they do these constantly, and then they have what they call a core group. So you're assigned, you have like a board of directors that basically guides you. So I have 8 executive women who I'm a part of. They call it your core group, and we meet once a month for like 3 hours, and it's literally like a board of directors that we help each other, we support one another, we share ideas, we share challenges, experiences. Again, that, you know but back to leading from the heart,
Yeah,
you have to know all these pieces. We are not siloed and living on an island by ourselves,
we're not.
where where we can do everything. We need that circle of friends and colleagues who help us develop. And to me, I mean, in 3 weeks, it's been blowing my mind. I'm
Wow.
phenomenal. Yesterday we had a webinar with the CEO of Fortune magazine, giving us, a little bit about that side of the business. So there's so much to go on there.
So it's essentially for women, for leaders that are trying to just better themselves personally and in
And
business,
help each other,
and help each
collaborate and
other.
help each other. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. No, it sounded amazing. And when you announced that, are you starting a chapter in your area, or you're just a member of a chapter? Because I was trying to.
I'm actually a founding member of we don't have one in Tampa yet. So
Okay.
I'm actually a founding member of the Florida Miami chapter.
Okay, that's what I
So
thought. I thought it was Miami.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
well, congrats again. Like that's
Thank
truly
you.
amazing. And and that's the thing too, is I know that one of the topics that you wanted to kind of brush upon was the fact of just getting older in the industry, right? And obviously, like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, we're old, but the reality is as we get older, a lot of people kind of start backing off, right? Like, you're doing the opposite. Like, you're revving up in a way where you're just like, clearly you could care less about your age, and you're just like, it doesn't matter, I'm limitless here, right? So, like, why? I don't, once again, like, how is it that you have that sense of kind of like worth, knowing that it's your age shouldn't matter? Like, just keep going. Like, you could still accomplish so much.
Because we have a lot still yet to accomplish. I mean, I feel
Okay.
that. I really,
Yeah.
really do. We each have so much to accomplish. I mean, and if you think about it, the average age of our population is increasing. We have people who are in their 80s and 90s who are working. I know I don't even think of retirement because I've watched people who retire and they sort of go downhill.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that. I, I'm in my 50s. So, for people who don't know, I
You're
am
like,
in
I'm
my
just throwing it
50s.
out there.
I embrace it
Yeah.
completely, but I still feel like I'm in my 30s.
Yeah.
Honestly, I still feel, I wake up and I go, how did I become the oldest person here? How did I
Yeah.
become like the person who's now, with 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds, I'm working with? It blows my mind. It's like I think of myself that way. I think of myself as 20. I always tell people I'm 29 and several months.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. That's how I think of
Yeah.
myself. And so I think my energy level comes from that because I don't think of myself as old. I
Yeah.
don't think of myself as somebody who, is nearing retirement or should be thinking about that. No, I want to do more. I want to have more of an impact. I want to leave a better legacy. I want to learn and do more. And that to me is what makes it exciting to be alive.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what are we doing?
I know. Yeah. And that's the thing, is I think the more of us that are out there at this age being like, hey, look at us. Like, we're not slowing down. If anything, we're like on
We're
full.
revving up.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's really important, because then it also shows younger generations also, like, yeah, like, there's no
Hey,
like
I learned from them so much,
expiration
by
date.
the way. Yeah, there is no expiration date. And I
Yeah.
learned so much from the younger generation. And this is one of the reasons, I mentioned in the spotlight, but that's one of the reasons I started that because, eventually they're going to be the ones leading
Hmm.
in whatever industry you're in. And it's really our responsibility to help guide them. That's how I see it. To
Yeah.
help to help them when they need help. They are very good at what they do. They scare me sometimes of how tech savvy they
Yeah.
are. I mean, and I'm a technologist. I come from a technology background, but it scares me. I look at my son who is developing VR apps, and I just look at him and I go, holy,
Yeah,
can't say
but we
that on
have the
live TV.
experience and the wisdom. Then there's something to be said about that, because I had a conversation actually with my 17-year-old the other day, and I was talking about how, being that I'm in the branding, marketing, social media space, that sometimes, I also kind of think, gosh, I'm 46 and that's my job, when it's usually given to 20 something, and my daughter was very sweet, because she's like, Mom, I don't understand why you think 46 is old and why you're knocking yourself. She's like, you're good at it. Not many people can do the technology piece of it. You get it. And she's like, so just kind of own it and you can do whatever you want. I mean, even I mentioned to my ex-husband about how cool it would be to do social media for like the LA Chargers. I was like, but of
Oh
course they have
yeah.
someone young. And he goes, why not? So what? You have the wisdom and the experience that a lot of them that don't have. So you bring that to the table. And it's just funny to have people have to remind you, especially your 17-year-old daughter, who you think looks at you in a certain way, and clearly she doesn't. And so it was really nice, and it was a reminder that a lot of the young kids, they don't look at us that way. Like
No,
once again, we got to change the narrative and how we talk to ourselves.
absolutely. I totally agree with that because I think a lot of times it's us who are putting ourselves down.
Yeah.
And when others see us do that, then they put us down because if we don't appreciate ourselves and if we don't believe in ourselves, why do we expect others to?
Yeah.
I mean, and that was also one of the things that on that hike, what that came to me was if I don't value my time and if I don't value myself, why do I expect somebody else to?
Yeah, I think we forget that,
You
right?
know,
Like we get upset when someone else doesn't treat us a certain way, but if like we're treating ourselves badly and they see that, well, then they're going to think that's our
that's
expectation.
okay.
You
Yeah,
know, that's what we
exactly.
expect. Yeah, it is a reminder. And then once again, like with my 17-year-old, because if I'm sitting here doubting myself, I don't want her to have those doubts. I want her to know that she can do anything as well. Oh, thanks, Christina.
Yeah, I can see that too, Christina.
You know what? Once
Absolutely.
again, you never know. Hey, this could
Well, I
be
have to tell you, I
for
used to
people.
love the Chargers because Phil Rivers was there and he went
Yeah.
to my alma mater.
That's
So,
right. That's right. NC State, right?
NC State, yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. But that's the thing too about all of this is that that's why it was so important for me to have this show showcase just every part of us because yes, we're in the mortgage industry, but it doesn't mean that we have to stay in it for the rest of our lives. Like you're someone
Not
that
at all.
you kind of got out of it a little bit. Like you're in it, but you're still
I'm tangent.
yes,
I'm I'm
exactly.
mortgage lending tangent.
Yes. And for me, yes, I love the company I work for. I love what I do, but I also envision, kind of different things in my life, and that's okay. It's all right if you want to evolve and move and take a different path. So I love that you said that, with the Harvard business program, it just wasn't part of that path at the moment. Like we can
Yeah.
veer. It's okay.
It's okay to change direction.
Yeah.
It's okay. And it's okay to come back to it
Oh yeah, I
when
mean, I
the
came
time
back.
is
Look, I
right.
left, and then now I'm back.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some things happen. There's a reason you're on a journey. There's a reason that you're on a path. And sometimes you take a detour and then you come back, and there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're willing to step up, to pull a chair and sit in the table. And somebody actually, I think it was Jackie Dunlap, she said, make sure you go into every room. And it took me a
Mm,
while to understand what she means. She's like, these are the rooms that you need to be in. Go into these rooms, meet these people, talk to them. You'll learn, you'll see, you'll
yeah.
hear things that you may not have exposed yourself to. And it was very powerful hearing her say that.
Yeah. No, I love that because I think for whatever reason we have this fear of sharing, some hopes and dreams that we have because they might not align with like who we are at the moment or what people see us as, right? Because like that's something that I've really struggled with and I've kind of had to mourn just past kind of versions of myself because for so many years people looked at me a certain way and so you feel like you have to continue to be that character and play that
Yep.
role and I was like no, I'm different and it's okay. Like I for whatever
We
reason
evolve. Of course, we're going
yeah,
to be
like we get
different.
scared of how people are going to judge us or what they're going to say. And I think that's the beauty of us getting older too is that we start realizing I really don't care. you know
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's very true because when we're younger, we are always in competition with others. We always, we compare ourselves to what others are achieving, what others are doing, and why is it not happening to us? And as we get older and um more relaxed, I guess,
Mhm.
and more in tune with our own self, that becomes less of has less importance to us
Yeah.
because we start to know what's important for us and we start to surround ourselves by the people who not necessarily are like-minded but who help, who are pushing us, who
Yeah.
are who
Well,
want
helping to
us to
elevate
grow.
us and helping because I
Exactly.
think, for a long time when you're younger, you tend to, at least I did, there was a point in time where I was surrounding myself with people that were like pushing me down,
Hmm.
knocking me down. And then suddenly you're just kind of like all right, well, I guess this is my life. And then you realize, like, wait, hold up, wait a second. I have
Yeah.
control of who I surround myself with. And that was a real game changer for me. And that's when I was able to bring people in like yourself into my life, and Michael Ray, and now Christina, who I met through LinkedIn, and we've built a rapport. And these are all people that are coming into my world that I was like, finally. But it took me to realize that I had, I was also accountable, have accountability there,
Accountability. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I was doing something myself that I was attracting those type of people.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
it truly is becomes, it becomes how we, as we were saying, how we treat ourselves
mhm,
is how others are going to treat us.
yeah,
And in reverse, they say, treat others as you want to be treated. uh, and somebody, I'm trying to remember who it was, somebody actually said to me, it's not that. If you want to take it to the next level, if you want to lead from the heart, you have to treat others how they want to be treated.
be treated. Yeah,
And that's what creates that connection. And I've watched you on LinkedIn. You've built
mhm,
such a huge group around you that you see that they support, and they are
yeah,
they are helping you grow. And that's what we each need to do for one another.
yeah,
Because otherwise, again, we go back and we're living on islands by ourselves, especially right now during a pandemic. you know I, I mean, I think I had COVID about 2 weeks ago. I was
yeah,
homebound for about 10 days. And let me tell you, I was climbing the walls by the end of that. And the only thing that kept me going really was my connections, the IMs and talking to
mhm,
people on LinkedIn. I missed a couple of conferences, but I was still able to chat with people and connect with them. And that human connection is so important for us to develop as human beings. It is
absolutely.
so critical to have that connection.
Yeah.
And I it I don't see how others don't leverage that and take advantage of it. I
Well, no, and
don't.
that's why I appreciate our friendship, because that's how it started. It was, I saw you on LinkedIn, and you kind of had this larger than life image for me. Like, that's, just in the industry. And then when we went for coffee, it just took it
God,
to
I
that
was so
next
afraid.
level.
I was so scared that first time we met. Oh my God, I still remember at Pete's Coffee. I was like, oh my God, what's she gonna think? Yeah, you were like this. You were Raquel, and I
Yeah,
was
but
like,
that's
oh
what's
my God.
funny is, once again, it's like with social media, we have this kind of idea, this perception of what the person is. And that's why I tell people all the time, like, get on a Zoom call, meet them in person if you can, because you'll see, like, it takes it to a different level. And then you realize
It
that
does.
it's just different. So when it comes to connection, like true connection, that's what you got to do, right? Like, you really have
Yeah.
to make an effort to connect with that person, through their interests, through their passions. And that's why I love, where, like, with this show, that yes, we're business women, but there's so many, different sides to us. So, like, people who are listening to you now are really getting to know Suha on a different level, in a different way, right? And that's that emotional connection. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to do, is trying to have these women just share what they want. There's
By
no
the way,
script here, no nothing.
I love that you share your paintings.
Oh,
That last one you shared is so beautiful.
well,
I
thank you.
absolutely love it.
Yeah,
The one
and
that you just
actually,
did.
Suha, she commissioned me. I did a painting for Suha, so she has a painting as well.
I
Like, how
do.
cool is that, right? Once again, it's like we get to kind of just support each other in so many different ways. And the fact that you've
Absolutely.
done that with my paintings, it's like, thank you.
Well, I mean, and like you said, we have so many different facets,
Yeah,
and the things that we're passionate about doesn't necessarily have to be just related to what we do every single
yeah,
day.
and that's
Um,
important. Yeah,
and it's an outlet for you to be, whatever your creativity is. I love to cook. That's how I'm
yeah.
creative. That's how I express, because I can't sing, and I can't, I can dance a little bit, but not really great. Yeah, my
Yeah.
husband's shaking his head. He's
He's
going,
like, no,
no,
you can't.
nope, 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 don't do that. So, but we each have a creative outlet that we really have to develop, because that's what gives us peace, and that's what keeps us grounded, if you will,
Yeah,
and helps us achieve more, because you're not focusing on the problems or the challenges that you're having every day, but you're actually giving yourself an outlet to be creative. And
Yeah.
from creativity comes so much. I
So
mean,
much.
it's incredible. Because when your mind is not, when your mind is free, it can come up with so many amazing things for you to say
Yeah.
and do.
Yeah. And that, I mean, essentially and this is perfect timing because I believe that's what makes you such an incredible leader. Truly. Just everything that you said in the last half hour just goes to show that you are leading with the heart and that you're a tremendous leader and that you're only going to continue to excel and succeed and even better yourself. And like, I'm excited to see where this journey takes you because yeah, there's no stopping you now, girl. And me neither. Right?
There's no
So
stopping any of us. We all
no,
have the
so
ability
this
to
is like
do.
just the beginning of so much. So it's like just really exciting to kind of have this conversation because it just kind of reignites a lot for me as well. Just being that you are older than me. And, once again, it's like, hey, you might be a little bit less than 10 years older than me, but like, I see that you're someone that I'm like looking up to, like, I want to be like Suha. I hope that,
Aw.
I'll still be doing the things that you're doing at that point.
Oh, I'm
So,
sure that you will. I'm sure that you will.
so thank
And
you for coming on.
oh, thank you for having me. This was so much fun. I can't believe 30 minutes have
I
already
told you
passed.
it goes by really quickly, but if anybody wants to connect with Suha, you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, right?
I am. And
Yeah.
Twitter.
Oh, see, I'm not even on Twitter. Okay, and Twitter. Oh, and I'm not on Facebook either. But yeah, connect with Suha. She's an incredible human being, just in general.
Oh,
So,
thank
but yeah,
you.
I'm glad that we were able to catch up.
I
And
am too.
yeah, so thanks again. And I
Thank
appreciate
you. Thanks
everybody
for
that hopped
having
on
me.
and supported. Thank you always, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.